So, aside from reporting costs being reduced and staff better utilized and career danger being avoided, what other benefits can master data management software get you?
It's really, I mean, the number one thing I think is agility. You're quick to adapt to
True.
new requirements. Your structures and the way you see your business is already there, defined. You have golden versions of the way you report your business. You have all the different dimensions that are available to people, to other people downstream that are analysts or that need to
Yeah.
see it in a different way, segregated by their business unit or whatever. It gives you agility. I mean, in agility, why do you need agility? Maybe you get acquired by a company. Maybe your company gets bought out. Or
You're gonna go for top dollar if you can actually validate or come up with a value for your company that's defendable. How many times you see these dot coms? I've worked with private equity guys before. They're like, "Well, let's mark to market the price of this. What can we get it for?" You got to very quickly come up with the value of your company and why it's worth that much money. Because otherwise, the private equity guys are just going to default to looking at your ARR over the next X couple of years, and that's all they're going to pay for.
right, exactly. So, I can give you a practical example. So, I work for a large software company that does financial software, and they also have an MDM solution. And so, I'm not here to endorse them. As part of the story that we used to tell the customers, they were the fastest company, Fortune 500 company, to close their books and report to the street. That they did it,
Hmm.
I think, 8 days. They did an acquisition of a company that was 40% of the size of them, and they integrated it. And that 8 days went to 11 days. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's 11 days for one quarter, then went back to 8 days.
Yeah, well, they got you get your act together, you get to know everybody, and you're capable of doing what you did before because you already got a great model.
But it was the MDM that allowed them to maintain the structures. And there was other things involved too. I mean, they really had automated processes using AI to do transaction matching against subledgers to GL. So over 95% were automatically matched.
Huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
How do you compete with that? If you're not getting software that automates processes, I look at it this way: anything that's repeatable can be automated. So if it's a repeatable process, even if you think you're smarty and you've been doing it for 20 years, software can do this now. And you better come up with a new trick because you're gone.
Yeah.
And it's just simple math and it's not expensive to do that. What would your advice be for people who like they pitch a project perfectly, they don't go in there whining hat in hand saying, "Hey boss, can I have money?" They have a real story on in terms of monetizing a business issue, but they don't get it approved. How would they at least get the experience of experimenting with that software so they can at least get a resume trophy and get a better job? Not necessarily by having a whole project work out, but if they can demonstrate they have a capability that other people don't have, I'd imagine that would help them in their search.
Yeah, it's called a stealth project. Right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what Masterful Data does is great because it doesn't cost any money and you can do a stealth project subject to
true.
being able to provide the data to set it up. It's called a stealth project.
Yeah.
It's right. Like it's like any other high achievers that you meet in organizations. They're not going to be stopped no matter what, right? So it's one of those things that I'm going to solve a problem. I don't have any money to solve the problem. So now how do I solve a problem with no money? It's just a second level of analysis you do. But if you become dogmatic and you're going to solve that problem, then you create a stealth project, and that's why I think Masterful Data would be great for these stealth projects. But I can do this for free, and then I'm going to go back and show them what happens.
True, but the other thing too, if you're one of these well-behaved people who's towing the party line, staying in your lane, and all that, you are one endangered species at this point,
Yeah, sure.
because you're just you're gonna get disintermediated. There's a cheaper way to do your job, and it's coming on so much faster than you think it is. That you're gonna, they're all out there just they're hiring consulting companies all the time to look, how to streamline things. Like you look at like Boston Consulting Group and some of these other guys that come out, man, they don't come out and leave anybody behind. They come out and there's going to be some change. And it's usually going to be a lot less people and a lot more software and a lot more consultants instead of employees.
True.
I mean, I had a client years ago. You're familiar with BMW, right?
I drive two of
Only, okay, there you go. I'm still taking the bus, but BMW only had of the office they had 20% were employees. 80% of the people in the US headquarters were contractors.
Yeah.
So imagine what you're capable of doing in terms of being able to swap out resources. You find something that works better, you can insert it immediately. You don't have a skill set on a guy, great, get him. You just pop them in, pop them out. You know, I made a joke with the guy who bought the software from me. I says, you've kind of got a NASCAR thing going on in your office where you could swap out parts so fast. He goes, yep, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, and this is 20 years ago. That was very impressive. He had the way they operate. I'm sure other people have caught up, but really, really good. Dean, it's been awesome to continue our discussion, but that ends another episode. Don't worry, because we have more, and don't forget to subscribe. I want to thank Dean Curtin for joining me today. I also want to make it easy to get in touch with Dean. Dean's skills and experience are essential to both lower costs, and his experience more than pays for itself based on his ability to help clients avoid expensive mistakes. Lots of companies try to do things on their own, but that usually ends as well as home dentistry. It often costs less to hire help. I hope you all contact Dean when it comes to financial systems advice, best practices, and see him as an extension to your financial team. Thank you. Join us on the next episode.